I just wanted to say I have my son on here this evening and we were talking about communication. I don't even know how to title the episode because it was just very good. It was very enlightening. It was some things that needed to be said and heard, and I can't wait to share it with you. Uh, the devil didn't like some of it, so there were a few technical difficulties. So if you see some chopped up editing, that is the reason. Phone was cutting off, camera was cutting off, and you'll see why once you hear the message that was brought forth.
Anywhere you said, anywhere.
Well, good evening and welcome to the loft. I am so excited tonight. I got my son on here with me. We are entering into we're in season two, episode two, and we are on the series communication. Today or this evening, we're going to be talking about social media in all aspects of it because I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions, and we're going to jump right into it because, again, it's just like you guys know what this is about. So I am ready for this, Corey. You got to help your mama out. I need some understanding about this social media, these texts, this ghosting, all the lingo. You
It's
dealing with a
all
Gen X. You
it's
dealing with a
all
Gen X.
trash. It's all trash.
You
It's
gotta
all
help
trash.
out.
Um, oh my God, yeah. Every different era you're gonna get into, there's going to be a different way to say something, right? So ghosting, being left on delivered, being left on red, stuff like that. And it's not as hard as what you think. Sometimes it's like exactly what they're saying. So I'm ghosting you. That means I'm not talking to you. I'm not seeing you. I'm cutting you off, but not telling you why. I'm ghosting you.
Wow.
Right. So you hit
Uh-huh.
me up, you're left on deliver. I'm not reading your messages, right? Or you hit me up and I leave you on red. That means I read it and just don't respond to you. All really, honestly, it's a term that can be used at any like on Indeed when you're applying to jobs and stuff. The
Mhm.
the the managers or the company can ghost you, say, "Oh, hey, we're gonna get you this job, blah 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 blah. Just fill out these documents." You fill them out, they never message you back. Or you can meet this girl and you're out and you're like, "Hey, how you doing?" She give you her number. You
Uh-huh.
text her, "Hey." She texts you back, "Hey, what you doing?" Nothing. Squat. Done. Over with. She like, you're lame. I don't know what it is, but it just is what it is. They got sayings like your body is giving tea, right? Not that's like way younger, way younger, way younger. So that's
Uh-huh.
like you're looking really good. Like you're looking really good. And
Okay.
that's stupid to me. What else? Riz, that you call you the Rizzler. If you got Riz, you got flow. If you got flow, you got swag, right? So like it goes
Dang.
all the way back. It's the same words just used differently. So like I being from South Jersey and dad who lived in PA and all over the place, I say John. The
Right.
John, when I say John, like, oh, look at that John, right? It's a noun. Person, place, thing, or idea. Okay? So it could be this John, right?
Uh-huh.
Or, oh, look at that John over there. She's so pretty. Like, it's a John.
Yeah,
J A
now I
W
know
N.
John.
John.
John is in my
Right.
generation too.
Right. So it carries over. It carries over. But they got these
Uh-huh.
rage bait and this like all this different stuff nowadays on social media that people are coming up with like the most dumbest sayings for no reason
Mhm.
whatsoever. And then people are just they just taking off, especially with TikTok being like a new mainstream type media. A lot of kids are on there. A lot of
Right.
everybody's on there, but primarily kids are on there. So you're
Right.
seeing all these things and there's all these new sayings. I know like me growing up, I'm 27. I've never had to realize I know 27 seems young to you, But when I'm hitting this age, so I'm 27 years old, I still, in my mind, I'm in my 20s, mind you. I'm going to work. There's 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
They calling me Unc. Okay. They're calling me Unc. They're like, we want Unc to come out and get drinks with us so you can show us and what. I'm like, Unc, brother. And then I hear that I hear what I'm like, brother, you need to, and I'm sounding like a Unc. I'm like, oh my God. And they're saying this whole new slang. And I'm like, what does that mean? And I'm like, really trying to understand what they're saying. Can't get it whatsoever. And it's not that I'm not cool. You
Uh-huh.
know, you just get to that part. So when I was 21, going to work or doing anything, I'm cool. I'm vibing with everybody around me, even the older people.
Right.
Okay. So you're getting invited to stuff. People like, come out, let's drink, let's go to the club, all that stuff like that. Now I'm in bed by 8. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing none of that. I'm not doing none of that. And you think because I'm still 27 though. So it's
Yeah.
like you gotta realize it. At some point, you gotta realize the gap between
Yes.
you and the younger you. And so
Yes.
seeing that gap and just in communication when like people are
Yes.
talking to me, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I'm like, oh my God, what have I missed? But I'm
Yeah.
on social media.
Yeah.
My algorithm just old. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just in the past. I'm
You
not,
like Jalen Hurts.
yeah, he an old soul.
Your old
So
soul.
he don't what he's 27. He was born
Yep.
1998. So he'd be
Yep.
up there and he'd be like, he like, what are these young people saying nowadays? Like,
Yeah.
brother, man, we 27. We not even 30 yet.
I
You
love
know?
it though.
Yeah, because he really is like that. Even down to how he
Yeah.
dresses. Down to
Yes.
how he dresses is slick, is smooth.
Yep.
He's very humble because actually I had a argument with somebody the other day. A lot of the
Uh-huh.
new age people think that it's the price tag of what you wear that makes it
Right.
fly. I
No.
personally think that it's the fit in itself. You can wear a blue shirt, yellow pants, and white shoes,
Yeah.
and they all name brand look stupid because it's not working. You
True.
feel me? But I can
Yeah.
pop out with the most craziest colors in the world, craziest scheme. But my belt match, my hat match, my watch match, my socks match, everything matching. I'm on point. You can't catch me. You feel me? And it's all Walmart. And it's all Ross.
That's
And
true.
I smell good. Now I do put money into my scent because I
Yes.
don't like a cheap smell.
You like your mama.
Yeah, I don't like cheap smells. So
Nope.
I put my money into my scents. That's what
Yes.
I do. And that
Yes.
smelling impeccable. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy. But my clothes, if it's
Uh-huh.
pieced together correctly,
Uh-huh.
you good. It don't matter
You
what name brand.
good.
But
People.
that's the difference between the eras.
Yes.
That's the difference between ideas. That's the difference
Yes.
between I think at 27 when social media was first kicking, I was on
Mhm.
I was on Facebook when like it first came out. I was
Yes,
born
I
before
remember that.
Google was made. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yep.
and I know that it wasn't that long ago. I know other people like, boy, you still young, but like it's a reality. Like we
Yeah.
had to plug that John in to get internet. We had to plug it into a box just to get internet. I remember the phones that hooked up to the wall got the cord. Like they don't even know what that is.
Nope.
You see what I'm saying? Um,
Excuse
I
me.
I definitely now when it first came out it was great, fantastic
Yeah.
social media. What it is now has changed
It
everything.
is. It
And when you
is.
look deep into it, people
Mhm.
are having anxiety, people are panicking, people are worried, people are upset. People are not really because what
Mhm.
everything so oh, you taught me eat the meat and throw away the bone.
Mhm.
Everything that people are seeing because it's in front of you on your phone, it has to
Right.
be the truth.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many people would try to argue fact,
Yes.
because they saw a TikTok video that said different,
Yes.
right? Or
Yep.
with AI, now you got AI, you got them making faces and having people do stuff that they never did, never done. They coming out with songs. Drake have AI for Drake. And he's coming out with a song. The song sounds like Drake made it. you know
Mm.
so like
Hmm.
there is it's changing drastically. I feel
It
like there's
is.
a certain point where technology becomes a problem. They show you that in the movies, they show you
Yes.
that in books,
Terminator.
right, they show you that Matrix, they show you that
Hmm.
it's so much different things,
Yeah.
right? um
Hmm.
Social media has now stunted communication, and not to be
Yes. Yes. Yes.
not to be overzealous and nothing, you feel me? But because I am so keen in my conversation, when I talk to people face
Yes.
to face, I
Yes.
don't do Tinder. I don't do that. If I meet people, I meet you out. I meet you in public. I don't do all those different dating sites, stuff like that. I got my boys who meet their girlfriends on it. I got all stuff like that. I don't do it. Okay,
Mm-mm.
I want it organic. I want to know who you are, not who you
I
put
love it.
yourself up to be on a website. Which
Yes.
again, communication, because you can lie.
Yes.
You can lie so easily. You feel so safe. I feel
Yep.
like really it started with cyberbullying, where people were hiding behind the computer screen, and then they just
Yes.
gave them more power to do it better. People catfishing
Yes.
people, all stuff like that. The same people who be stuck in the phone can't function in regular day life. I'm starting to see more and more people with social anxiety.
Yes.
Social
Yes.
anxiety. They
Yeah.
can't. The crowds of people is like scary, especially the pre-COVID, after
Hmm.
COVID,
Yep.
post-COVID, whatever you want to call it,
Post-COVID.
post-COVID, right? After everything, when everybody was stuck in the house, was only on screens, people scared to go to the mall. People scared to
Yes.
go here. People don't want to
Yes.
shop out no more. They want to shop in. I don't want to go out
Yes.
there. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
um, when I talk to people, and again, not to be overzealous, they are like encaptured by what I'm saying. They're
Hmm.
like, they're just like stuck in my speech. And so sometimes I be, putting down the work when I'm talking to some ladies, because I'm not the cat that's going to sit across from the bar from you and send you a text. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
send you a text. So you drop your number, don't say nothing, send them a text and want to talk
Hmm.
that way. When I'm over on your side talking to you, hey, how you doing? Like all of it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah.
How you doing?
Hey,
Oh
hey,
Lord.
hey, how you
No.
doing?
But
How you
to
doing?
your point, Corey, because you and I are communicators, the apple don't fall far from the tree. You were talking out the womb.
Hey, wah,
You
wah,
started,
wah, wah.
you were talking at a very young age, and I mean conversation, communication at a very young age. And that's how I raised you and your brother is communication. We always were talking. We didn't have that disconnect. And I'm so thankful for it because now when because I see you both are very good communicators. And I have to give accolades for it because you are both still young. I mean, you're older, but you're young. You know what I mean? Um, just like using Jalen Hurts as an example, y'all had an old soul. And because I think um, communication has been lost in translation. There's so much like text, you can't interpret text anymore. That's why I use like 1,000 emojis because I want to come across like I'm saying, because if somebody doesn't know who you are, and you're
Right.
texting them, they can misread it, they can misunderstand it. It's just like I said, it's lost in translation with this social media. I really miss the days of old, excuse me, when you would just pick up the phone. I was just talking to Lisa earlier and sharing with her. I said, remember the days when it was intentional to reach out to somebody, even if you hadn't heard from somebody in a long time, it was like intentional. You're like, okay, I'm going to call this person at this such a time. You didn't have no distraction. Now you be on the phone, you're texting, you're looking at social media, you're doing this, you're doing that. It's just like, it's such a disconnect. And to your point, it's like I see it even more so after COVID because we were so dependent on our phones as
Yeah.
a means of communication during that time. But it's just like I would really like to see it get back to, I know it's not, but it's just like I'm just stating my opinion.
It
I would
can.
love to see, that's why I think I am intentional with my communication. Like you're intentional with your communication. Because it's just like I don't want to adapt to this new thing
The
because
new
it's
way.
just like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes it's disheartening. It really, and I think that's why a lot of our generation, like the Gen X generation, we always are going back because we miss
Yeah.
those days. We miss those days. It's just like you don't really appreciate something until that saying, you don't appreciate something until it's gone. It's just
Yeah.
like, that is the truth. Um, I have seen like disagreements come out of misinterpreting things that you read through a text or an email. And how about this one? People don't really read anymore either. They skim it. So
Yeah.
you thinking they're retaining
Reading
what it
your
is that you're saying,
what you're saying.
but they're not. And
They're
then they
reading
come
first
back,
2 cents, last 2 cents.
yep, that's it. That's all they're looking at. And that's like with social media sometimes too. And I am a communicator. I'm a relationship builder. It's just like I am in tune with people. So when I write a lot because I'm very expressive and I want people, that's how I relate. I want people to understand where I'm coming from and I want to understand you. I want to give you that time, I want to understand you. So it's like people don't read it. I can't tell you how many people ask the same questions with things that I already said or
And then said,
already then wrote. Just like, oh my gosh. But it's just like I just have to, it is what it is until it isn't, like I always say. It's just
yeah,
like so, like I was sharing yesterday, I love the fact that we can be part of the solution. I love the fact that we can set ourselves apart and we can do things different and than everybody else does. And I think that's what keeps it live because we do have to keep that going. You
yeah.
know what I mean? We have to keep that going. That we have to keep communication alive, the real
All,
communication
all
alive.
you need is 2 hours every day. An
Hmm.
hour when you wake up and the
Hmm.
hour before you go to sleep. Get
Hmm.
off the phone.
Yes.
Put it down.
Yes.
You can have your phone all day long. Hour before you go to bed, hour when you wake up. Don't touch it.
Hmm.
Go outside. Drink some coffee.
Yes.
Read a book. Do
Yes.
something separate. Separate,
Yes.
like gain some sort of knowledge. If you take
Hmm.
that 2 hours out of 24, so you got 22 hours to BS all you want. Those
Yeah.
2 hours are going to be the most stress-free hours you have in your entire day. Because
Yes.
when I go on my phone, Trump destroying America. Oh no. The world's ending. Oh no. You're going to hell. Oh no. And I'm just like, oh my God. There's so
Yeah.
much stuff that I'm scrolling through. So much, or like, especially with men, because men gotta lock in, especially with lust. Okay.
Yes.
You're scrolling on your phone and all you see is boobs and butt, boobs, butt, boobs, butt, boobs, butt.
Yes.
You can wake up with the purest intention.
Yep.
Purest. Like not want to think that way, not want to have that on your mind, and then you scroll. As soon as you open your eyes, you
Yeah.
scroll, you see it. As
Yeah.
soon as you're about to go to sleep, you're scrolling, phone in your hand, falling out your hand. This is what you're seeing before you
Yep.
go to sleep and when you wake up. And then for the rest of
Yes.
the day. So much so people scrolling while driving.
Yes.
While driving.
Hmm.
You
I've
know,
seen that.
And this ain't no new thing either.
Mm-mm.
This has been a rise. It's been rising definitely, but this has been on the rise for a very long time. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people and a lot of scholars and different people who believe that, this is the zombie apocalypse. It may
Mhm.
not be people eating flesh, but it's people not paying you no mind, the screen light in your face. They're
Wow.
just not, they're not here. They're walking around, not really, they're what, oh man, what are they called?
They're
Not the
just
main,
unaware.
they're the extra added people. They're the background.
Mhm.
What is that called in video games? Oh my God. I know the word, but I forget.
I can't think. The only thing I think of is agents
Agents,
from
yeah,
Matrix.
yeah. See, agents are a little bit different. I feel like those are the people set out to get you when you're not. Oh, when you're not. Listen, real quick.
Yes.
There are agents everywhere.
Yes.
This goes out,
Yes.
and I don't discriminate with your religion. Every religion has a God. Every religion has a purpose to your heart, your mind, your soul, the path that you're walking. Okay. But it's up until you try to force that religion on other people that makes you wrong. Okay.
Mhm.
I am a believer of Christ. I'm a believer of God. That's what I stand on. My God, and I say this as respectfully as I can. My God is loving, forgiving, but he don't play. Just like your dad
Amen.
don't play, just like your mama don't play. There's certain
Amen.
respects to be had, but you're never scared. You're scared,
Amen.
you're scared to do wrong. You feel me? You're scared
Yes.
to mess up because
Yes.
you respect them so much and you don't want
Yes.
them to be disappointed in you. But
Yes.
you're not fearful that you're going to die. You're not
Yes.
fearful that what I'm saying, like you're not fearful in a point of like actual uh did my camera go on?
You're good.
I'm good.
It
Uh
flashed.
they're not fearful in that type of situation. Any religion, any type whatsoever. I respect it. My God is a forgiving God. We're gonna go from that basis. I am someone who has friends who don't necessarily share in the same belief. I, as a communicator, don't want to come in a controlling or rude manner. I'm sitting, oh my God. So I'm sitting in this pastry place. It's a bakery, Japanese bakery, delicious cream puffs. Sunday morning, we just prayed because I'm on a vacation in Ohio. We just prayed. We about to drive back, and that was also scary too because a lot of people are scared to communicate their beliefs also because of social media and how you get battered for what you believe in whenever you comment. Julian,
Mhm.
my brother, being in Facebook jail more times than I can count because of that same thing, the same principle. He'll say how he believes, somebody will comment mean, and then you mess with the wrong person at that point in time. Because then he's gonna go on a spiel for hours and hours and hours, and he is relentless. Like he will not stop commenting. He does not care. Right. So people are scared to say what they believe in and communicate what they believe in. Me
Right.
personally, I was the same way because I am a social butterfly. So I like adhering to or adapting to my crowd. If it's not
Mhm.
feeling like a crowd that you could talk about your religion, I don't. But sometimes you got to stand on business for what you believe in, regardless. So
Amen.
I've been starting to open that up. When they got in the car, I said, "Hey, despite what y'all religions are, okay, despite what it is, I'm gonna pray before we hit the road." Okay.
Mhm.
And then to my surprise, everybody bowing their heads. To my surprise, not knowing just because I was able to say it out loud, right? People
Mhm.
were comfortable enough to be themselves. My boy who
Mhm.
was sitting next to me said his own prayer because he's Catholic. So mine
Mhm.
is more of an urban way of saying it. Dear Father God, in the name of Jesus, thank you for bringing us into this day. Like, that's what I'm saying. It. He's saying, like, yo, his Hail Marys, all stuff like that. But I'm feeling more blessed
Yeah.
You know, like we
Mhm.
all praying, we all in unity. And just like when they when just I'm getting sidetracked. ADD, excuse me, I'm sorry. Let's go back. I'm in this bakery. Okay. This man is wearing an I love Jesus shirt. Okay. I'm like feeling so good, so God, so just feeling, yo, God bless you, brother. Well, I like your shirt. Have a great Sunday. Do you believe in God? I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Relax, brother. I'm just trying to compliment your Jesus shirt. Okay. And I'm like, yes, sir. I'm like, yes, sir, I do. Are you Christian? I'm like, yeah, I'm Christian. I said non-denominational because I don't really necessarily like how in some religions it's forced on people their ideas. I don't think God likes forcing things on people. But I don't judge. It's not my place. That's not my job. I love everybody, but I just personally don't do certain things, go to certain churches, or pray certain prayers. That's just my personal opinion. That's my relationship
Mhm.
to have. Okay.
Mhm.
He said, it's because you're a sinner. And I said, I mean, we're all sinners, are we not? You know, because like again, I'm I'm a talker. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also a debater.
Yes.
So if you want to sit here and really have this conversation, I am because God has blessed these hands. I am definitely I am definitely still open to having conversation and talking, you know, because I fear no man. I do not.
Amen.
So he's going in about the Bible and stuff like that. And I said, well, I'm not really a fan of the Bible because I take it as a letter of love to show you how to be while you're here on earth. That it
Yes.
was an example. An example. And yes, there are some strict parts, Old Testament, and yes, there are revised version, New Testament. But I believe that if I'm going to follow anything, man written, reinterpreted, rewritten, all stuff like that, is going to be the original version, excuse me. And
Mhm.
Aramaic, I believe it was written in first, or one
Mhm.
before that, a language before that. And
Mhm.
with communication, we have a language barrier.
Yes.
Okay. Some languages, what their love is way deeper. So in Spanish, just an example, I would say friend,
Right.
right? Or I will say brother.
Yes.
Okay. Carnal. When you call somebody a carnal, it's like a close, it's like very close brother.
Yes.
Carnal is brother, like just
Yes.
regular brother,
Yeah.
both meaning the same thing, one with more love in it. So when
Yes.
you're interpreting
Yes.
these words into English, it is
Mhm.
changing them just a
Mhm.
little bit enough for you not to really understand fully,
Mhm.
excuse me, for you not to really understand fully, besides through your own personal relationship, what God's meaning by what he says.
Right.
Okay. Or having somebody who is trained, a
Yes.
professional who has
Yes.
studied the Bible. This man
Yes.
has been on Google and following the King James version. So as soon as I hear you following the King James version, you know we about to cut it up, right?
Mm.
Because the King James version was changed so that man could get married again. Because before that, you were not allowed to get divorced in the Bible that they
Mhm.
created. That was against God. You are a
Right.
king. You follow the religion. He chopped it up, made it specific to his own personal pleasure so
Mhm.
that he could have a son because his first wife was not producing him a son. I
Mhm.
forget the song, but he had, I think, like four wives, and the last one
Mhm.
who he loved the most, or five wives, the last one that he loved the most, ended up
Mhm.
dying
Mm.
after
So you
giving.
talking to you told this to this guy? You were sharing
Oh,
this with this
I'm
man?
going down. I'm ripping it down. I'm like, okay, but that's the Bible you believe in. Okay.
Mhm.
He's just like, no. I said, bro, this is basic history. I was like, you can search it up right now. Go look in a textbook and read what I'm telling you. I learned this when I was in 8th grade. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'm saying, but this is the Bible that you're saying is the way, the only way. Because he barking at me. I'm going to hell. I'm a sinner. I don't believe in Jesus Christ. I said, yes, I do. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. No, you
Yeah.
don't, because you wouldn't be living the way you do. You're a sinner. And I'm just like,
Oh my God.
I'm
He
like,
don't.
listen. I said, okay. So I try to go to a different approach. Okay, sir. Still remaining calm. Okay.
Mhm.
What about the book of Enoch? What about that book? Should we follow that book as well? And he was just like, I mean, yeah, you can, but that's not the book that the Catholic canon chose to put. I was like, so again, you're talking about a group of men who sat in a circle and decided what's supposed to go in the Bible.
Mhm.
But you're saying we have to follow the Bibles that are written. We have to do that. That is the only way. And he said, yeah, because God and Jesus made us the judges. He said we should be like them. I said, yeah, we should be like them. We should forgive and love how they do, but not judge, not
Yeah.
execute, not do
Mhm.
things like that. That is not our job.
Mhm.
Not as followers, believers, and lovers of Christ. That's not what we're supposed to do.
Right.
He was just like, okay, gets real close to my face, like right here. He's like, you're going to hell.
Oh.
I said,
That was
what?
demon.
I said, what? I said, what? I said, no, I'm not. I'm saved. I'm not going to hell. He said, when you get there, they're going to tell you that you were warned and you didn't listen. He was like, you're a sinner and you don't have Jesus Christ. Because if you had Jesus Christ, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. Bro, what am I doing? All I said was have a good day, eating a cream puff. I like your shirt, man. God bless. Have a good day. I'm a sinner because my stance on it was I don't judge people. That's not my place. So
Mhm.
I'm a sinner because I don't judge people. And I don't think
Mhm.
you should judge people. And I'm like, bro, that's kind of blasphemy. You kind of saying you Jesus, bro. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm interpreting for what you're saying. Because you're saying you're supposed to be like Jesus. So you have Jesus and God's job of telling them who goes to hell and who don't go to hell.
He knows nothing about you or your walk or your life.
Nothing.
He didn't even know your name. He
Look,
just knew you like his shirt, eating your cream puff.
I crashed out. Not gonna lie, because not a Christian telling somebody you going to hell is kind of like a way of saying F you in regular
Yeah.
words. When
Yeah.
Christians say you're going to hell, they really kind of flipping you off, like, you know what I'm saying? Type word. So I go outside, I'm like, I'll chop it up, whatever. He's smiling at me in his car driving away.
Oh.
Driving away. I'm like, this is ridiculous. But then later on, I'm back home now. We got back safe vacation. Everything was fine. Later on now, I'm thinking like, I gotta pray to God, like, yo, was he right? Am I wrong? Am I tripping? And that's because, sometimes you're not secure enough in your own belief to put down somebody else's. Okay.
Mhm.
Especially when
Mhm.
he's saying that's the same God as your God,
Mhm.
you know? So I would just encourage everybody who's trying to preach, trying to do that, trying to get out there. Your love has to be on 100,
Mhm.
because there's people out here telling hurt people. And my boy is next to me, the one who I'm trying to like really get on the right path. And he a sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? He just don't like
Mhm.
stuff like that. The same thing
Yes.
I said is the reason
Mhm.
why I don't go to certain churches is exactly
Yeah.
what he did. You can't even
Yeah.
say anything positive because you're scared. You can't get in a car, and vice versa, even with people who don't believe. And because those people who don't believe met the person who believes too much. So
It's
I
hard
can't
for us
get
to
in the
witness.
car
Yeah.
because of the lack of communication and the lack
Yeah.
of like togetherness. I can't get in the
Mm.
car and pray in front of people without people feeling uncomfortable because they feel like the next thing that comes out of my mouth is you're going to hell.
Yeah.
the next thing coming out of my mouth is something, or they're scared to pray because they don't know if I'm gonna be like, God ain't real. Why would God
Mm.
be real if he let your sister die? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's a loss of communication, a loss of interpretation, a loss
Yeah.
of what Jesus and God was supposed to be. And you know what?
That's
You see that on social media too.
yeah.
People
That's why
throwing God's
relationship.
name through the dirt. People
That's
throwing
why.
crazy.
Sorry.
No, you're
Yeah.
good.
I'm sorry about that. It's just I'm full because I'm like that is why relationship is so important with Christ and that you know him for yourself.
You
And
have
just like
to.
you said, I'm not really versed on the original version, but I understand what you're saying because we've had so many different conversations. And I really love the fact that you said somebody who knows the word, who's been to seminary, who has studied, that's who you want to hear from, not things on social media and stuff like that. Some of the
I
things
want
are true.
fact. If you
You
talking
want
to me,
facts. That's
give
what
me
it's about is
facts.
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 And that's why
Historic
it's so,
facts.
yeah, it's so important to know the word for yourself, have that relationship with Jesus Christ and hear from him because he says his sheep know his voice. And so you know when he's communicating with you. And I think that guy was because you had a great trip, hanging with your friends, you were trying to witness to your other friend and share with him about Christ. And it's just like that demonic presence, that agent, let me
Yeah.
just put it that way, he kind of tampered with the witness because it set you off.
Yeah.
But
Now I look discredited. I'm a man
yeah,
of God. I'm about to
yeah.
put these hands of God on you. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like I'm like,
yes,
oh nah, like you're not going.
yes.
You know, I also gotta realize how worldly I am. You
Hmm.
know, as well. Which I got, things in the works, working on that myself, getting enriched in what I'm supposed to be, who I'm supposed to
Amen.
be. I'm working on
Amen.
that, right? But
Amen.
I'm a warrior for my God. I don't know about
Amen.
everybody else, but that's what I believe, right? Like
Amen.
I'm willing to die for it.
Amen.
And sometimes you ask yourself that question. If it's the end times and they say they're gonna cut off my head, would I say I believe in God or will I not? And some people, you really don't know. I'm doing it. Hands down. Not even thinking twice. So I know I move kind of crazy, but basically just the you got to know your God. You got to know who you're worshiping. You got to know who you are in Christ. You got to know who Christ is to you, because people will be out here trying to challenge you, your faith, your knowledge off of stuff that's not real. So, stay encouraged, stay blessed, and always try to just speak the love. That's it. That's all what it comes down to. End of the day is love. Now you can also correct people in love, which I was about to do if he kept talking. I was going to show him the grace, but definitely just there's agents out here. Communication is big. Um, don't get so wrapped up in a different form of communication that you can't speak with your own words, because your tongue is powerful. Everything you
Yeah.
say out your tongue is powerful. And hiding behind a screen is only going to mute you.
Hmm.
I know it makes it seem powerful, but you can post all day. As soon as you're in a room having to talk to colleagues, as soon as you're in front of the woman of your biggest crush in the world and having to say hello, as soon as you're in school having to give a dissertation, as soon as people don't even negotiate when they go to job interviews because they don't know how to talk, they just
Yeah.
accept whatever's given to them. I go
Yes.
in and they'll be like, hey, $15 an hour. I'll be like, I think I'm worth 18. Get back to me.
Hmm.
Let me know. Uh, that schedule doesn't really necessarily work with me. I have my child, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. And normally, when I speak up, I get more out of my life and things going on than people who don't say anything.
Truth.
What
Mm.
what what was that, John? You missed all of the shots that you never took,
Hmm.
and people are really starting to do that on a daily basis because they can't speak. It's like they're they're muting people. They're muting your ability to speak manifestation, to speak in general, out
Mhm.
loud, to say it, to communicate, to tell someone you loved him, to tell someone
Mhm.
you don't like what they did, to guide
Mhm.
someone better. You know,
Mhm.
it's like it's harder. It's harder to
Yeah.
talk. But you know what they can do? They could text it to you. But when you text it to me and you send a laughing emoji on the end, I think you joking. Really, you
Mhm.
just putting it on there because it's the new thing to say, new thing to do, new face, new this, new that. You know, like you put LOL on the end of everything you're saying, and you're not even laughing.
Yeah.
I
I've
send you a
seen things.
joke, you put LMAO, and you don't even think it's funny. But I'm over
Mhm.
here thinking that you laughing. I'm thinking
Yep.
that you thinking I'm funny. And then
Yeah.
we're in public, and I try to say a joke, and then you're like, yeah, that's so funny. I'm like, oh wow, I've been lame this long. You couldn't even tell me it wasn't funny. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Can't stand that. But that's why I'm not on my phone like that. I
Yeah.
play bingo, go to bed by 9. That's what I do. I play bingo. Or I'm searching stuff up, especially stuff I don't know. I'm always looking for knowledge and wisdom, but my
Mhm.
communication stays on the outside. It stays out there. It stays face to face. Again, I don't do the dating sites. I don't do none of that. I keep my
Mhm.
communication. Just like I debated with that dude, that was a form of communication. I knew to speak up for myself, to say
Mhm.
what had to be said to somebody who is being radical about my God.
Mhm.
But if I was someone who was in my phone, like actually Nate tried to show me his phone to get me to stop talking to him because he saw me get hot. Like he was just
Mhm.
like, hey, no, look at this. And I'm just like, nah, we talking. You know, and I'm serious, I'm engaged in it. I'm talking to him.
Mhm.
But
And
I
it's just like,
appreciate you.
I appreciate and love you.
I love you.
I love you.
And
And I just have to do a couple words before I close out. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you a busy man and doing this show. And it's needed because there's so much to and unload and
okay.
unpack when it comes to communication. And we're going to be delving into more. And of course, I'm going to have you back. And like I shared yesterday, I think you learned, and what Nate was doing, he was actually living the word, which is be quick to listen and slow to speak, because that enemy tried to get you to get out of character, because that's
Ooh, yeah.
exactly what it was used for. But
Two
it sounds
seconds.
oxymoronic what I'm about to say is sometimes we do have to be mindful and careful, because remember how Jesus responded to foolishness like that, because he knew it wasn't the truth. And
Yes.
as you grow in him, you're going to learn that all the more, because but you are, your boldness is power when you start speaking that truth, because life and death is in the tongue, and the
That's true.
power, and so you have that, and I'm proud of you for, you are really doing it through this journey, and you're taking those steps, and you're trying to edify yourself and educate yourself and get what you need, and you're trying to minister to your friends. And I mean, it's admirable, your passion and the relationship that you're having. You was like that, like I said, since you came out the womb. And it's just like, because there's a purpose. That's even what your name means. There is a purpose. You are chosen.
Um,
So I bless God for you, and I thank you for, I'm just thankful for you and your journey. And I thank you for sharing that story, because it was really good. And I thank you for being transparent and sharing it with the audience, with our guests on the loft. And with that, um, I can't say I love you enough. You know how much I say it.
I love you too.
Yes. So, um, we're going to close out, and remember to hold on to that dream, and with unwavering faith, begin to live it. And you all have a wonderful evening. And again, Corey, I thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And until next time, we will be coming back about more in communication. Bye bye for now. Mwah.
Anyone you said, anyone you said, anyone.